Hi there, I'm Wendy Margolin, and I help service providers stand out online with content marketing. Thank you for joining me. I'm actually in a new space. I am in my basement, so let's hope that the Wi-Fi works. And if it doesn't, this will be the first and last time that I go live from down here. So I'm excited to talk to you today because I've been working on a bunch of training in order to help service providers be able to do everyday marketing. And what I want to talk to you about today is branding your business in a day. So, hey there, thanks for joining. Give a wave or say hi. You might have to give access to StreamYard if you want to let me know who's watching. So, I want to talk to you about branding your business in a day. Now, there are two types of people, and I'm sure that you have friends in both categories. So, one is kind of the DIYer who likes to do it herself or himself and try things out and just get it done because you're just impatient and you want it done and you don't have the money or you don't have the time to wait for someone to come do it to you. This is the kind of friend who paints their own bathroom or, just like runs out and decorates their own house by themselves. They don't get the interior decorator, those kind of people. There are other people that want it completely perfect. They wait forever. They spend a lot of money and they have something really beautiful in the end. And then there's a lot of people in the between. So you can guess I'm the DIYer. I'm the one who just like on a whim paints a bathroom, puts up a decal, whatever it is. So that's been here for a while, but I did it myself. And so I'm the DIYer. And so I think if you're in the middle category or you're the DIYer, you can do this for your business. And I like to call this taking messy action. It's just getting it done, getting something out there and not waiting for things to be perfect. This is great when you're working with digital media because it's not carved in stone. Nothing you do here is totally perfect and going to last forever. You can adjust your brand colors. I don't recommend completely redoing it. Otherwise, you need to do what's called a rebrand where you re-announce your whole new look so that people still recognize you. But you can create your colors from scratch and then build off of it. So let's go back because I want to talk to you about what is branding and then I'm going to dive in. I'm going to share my screen and show you a little bit of how you can do this yourself. So branding is your logo, it's your colors, it's the tone of your voice when you write or speak, it's the experience that people have when they work with you. I would argue that branding and marketing is even what it's like to call your office. Do they reach a real person? Do you get back to them right away? Do they reach an answering service and it's a frustrating process of pressing buttons? So are you custom and really high-end boutique, or are you cheaper and a little bit less personalized? All these things are your brand. So branding is colors, it's images, it's logo, and it's the content, and it's the overall experience. It's what allows people to end up knowing you, recognizing you, and hopefully liking and trusting you. So I'm going to talk to you about the part of branding, which is more of the images. And I can go into the writing and the content part at another time. I will just dip into that a little bit today. But really what I'm talking to you today is about how to create those the colors and the feel and the style of your brand. So I have a content ideas kit and I'm going to put the link in the comments here. So make sure you check that out. It's got a Canva training for you. Most of what I do with branding and imagery is in Canva. I know a lot of people have used Canva. They're like, oh, I'm familiar. I know Canva. But the truth is that if you haven't spent a lot of time in it, you really don't know the ins and outs of it and its full capabilities. When I spend a little time playing in there, which I don't have often, but sometimes I'll discover new features that I had no idea. There's so many resources in there. I have a graphic design background and I have the full Adobe Suite access. I pay monthly for it. And I'm telling you, over time, I use it less and less and less. And I keep writing to Adobe and asking for a better deal because otherwise I don't want to keep paying for it because I really rely so much on Canva. So even as a graphic designer, I encourage you to use Canva. So I'm going to put the notes on how to use it, not just how to make a there. I did that last week on the Facebook Live, and I want to make sure that you watch that because that goes hand in hand with what I'm talking about today. So I'm going to go over some of those things quickly. So branding for a service provider, and I work mostly with service providers, is super important because when they work with you, they're not choosing you because you're a product. Yes, they're choosing you because of your ultimate deliverable. So that might be your therapy counseling session. That might be your fitness workout. That might be your nutrition advice. It is about the ultimate deliverable. But more than that, they are choosing you because there are other people that are going to give a somewhat similar advice and like similar copy, whatever it is that you do, but only you are going to give it the way that you give it. So when you conquer branding, when you do this well, you're going to let people know why they should like you, why they should choose you. So when you're a service provider and you have a certain feel to your website or to your social media content, that's going to let people know if that's something that, hey, that resonates with me. I really see that this is like my style. I'm sure you've had this experience in your life. Like the first time I ever walked into Anthropology, this store, this was years ago. I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is my style. It even smells like the things I like. The furniture looks like the things I like. And my kids were with me. And one of my kids was like, Mommy, it's so you. Like they were little, but they got it. So the brand is that whole experience, and you can provide that and you can create that yourself. A reason that I want you to dive into this yourself, if you can. If you don't have a creative bone in your body, I hear you, but I encourage you to still try it, because when you work on this yourself, it's really authentically you. And brand, it's like it's your style. You know what you like, and it's not necessarily what someone can create for you. So you can hire an agency and you can give them examples of what they like, and they can go through a lot of rounds and they can give you something that you ultimately love, and that will work for you. But that costs a lot of money and it takes time. So if you are a small solopreneur, if you're a service provider starting out, if you're one who has been working for a while and relied on word of mouth, but now you need to put more into your marketing and your branding, I want to encourage you to go at it and try some of this yourself. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and let's dive in. And I want to show you a little bit of some of the tools that I use for branding. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, so here we are. I want to show you first. Okay, so this is Canva. I encourage you to have the Canva Pro. I talked about that last week. I'm not going to walk you through too many beginner things here because I talked about that last week. And I will give you a link to that for last week. Okay, so in here you have your brand kit, and I talked about how to add all this, but what we didn't talk about is how to choose this stuff. So in here, you add a code, right? But how do you know what code to add? How do you know what you would like? So that's what I want to talk to you about now, is first picking your colors. Okay, so back to Canva, you're going to go to your home, and then you're going to go to, in the features are these free photos. If you have Canva Pro, then you're going to have a lot more photos. And I apologize in advance if we see anything really creepy in here. I don't want to say creepy, but just off color a little bit more than I would normally show in my Facebook lives, but I want to show you what's in here. So I'm going to stop at this one because I really like these bright, vibrant colors, and this is a good example to show you how this works. I'm going to click on this photo, and boom, right here, I've got all the colors, the exact colors that are in this photo. And this right here is a color palette. It's a mood board. If this is something you like, go for it. Try it out. You can click on these and copy it, and then you can go back to your brand kit and you can paste it right into here. And there's my color. And I could do that with each of the colors. Now, what if you click on a photo in here and it doesn't offer you this, or you find a photo that's not in Canva? So I found this site, and I'm sure there are others, ImageColorPicker.com. And I already uploaded a photo in here that had some fun, vibrant colors that I liked. And it gave me all of these colors. I can actually hover over any specific section. You can see that square showing me a pixel of that section, and it's going to show me that right in here. And you can, again, copy this code and put it right in Canva. So that is a great way to choose your color palette. Now, word about choosing color palettes, there's a lot of psychology. There's a lot of brand strategists who will talk about the psychology of colors, that certain colors have certain moods and will encourage people to buy or be happy or be serene or calm or whatever it is. And I'm someone who is married to a social psychologist. So in our house, we really like data-driven research and Googling things that maybe don't sound spot on or like science. So if you look up right away, even before Googling, I asked my husband, is there any science to brand strategist ideas on color psychology? And he said, no. So I looked it up. I found a Psychology Today article, and it says that basically the ideas of color psychology have about as much weight as tarot card reading. So if you're into tarot card reading, you will probably be into color psychology. And I say, go on with yourself. If that's what's going to make you happy by picking a color that you feel is going to be happy or calming or whatever it is you want to represent with your brand, go for it. But for me, I like to pick colors that I just like. So it's funny because I'm wearing purple today, but I really don't like deep purple. Like I just can't stay on deep purple or certain kind of reds. And other people, their entire house is purple. So certain colors are going to speak to certain people, and I encourage you to choose what speaks to you and work with that for your brand, because you're the one that's going to have to look at it, work with it all the time. So that's brand colors. In terms of picking brand photos, you could go through this and pick tons and tons of photos. You could discover photos. I want to encourage you to pick colors that kind of go together. So when you pick photos, so let's say you've picked these like colors like mine. So these are my colors in here. And when I'm picking photos, so like these all kind of match. They don't really match my tone, but in terms of color, they match my color. Certain other things, like this is not my colors. I don't have these bold, bright photos. So I would not use an image in any of my templates that has that kind of bold, bright colors in it. Mine is more like soft and earthy, and it's just me. So I encourage you to do that. I also encourage you to choose photos that are, and again, to choose them, I mean, like, you can press that heart right there and it's going to add to liked photos. So you'll be able to find those later. But in order to choose photos, you also want to choose photos that are on brand for the kind of images you want to put in there. So I am not going to put images of animals, but I might do coffee. So there are definitely images of like, when I talk about having conversations or telling stories, there might be like 2 cups of coffee that are in my brand colors. And so that's what I'm talking about. Picking images that kind of go together and it all has a feel and it ties together. Again, none of this is carved in stone. You can pick this and add new ones later, but just get started. Take messy action. That's what I talked about last week. And that's what I want you to do this week. So that is your brand photos and your colors. I want to talk to you quickly. I'm not going to go deeply into this, but I want to talk to you quickly about creating a logo. If you don't have a logo and you're feeling really brave, you could create it in here by yourself. So what happens in here is that you've got a ton of templates. You could pick something that speaks to you. You could search for what you do. So maybe you are a therapist. So it's going to pull that up. It doesn't have templates for me, but there we go. You don't have to use these. You could really use anything, but once you change the colors, you can totally make this your own. So you can change the colors, you can change the font, you can put a different image in here, and this will be uniquely yours in the same way if you were creating it in the Adobe suite. You don't need to hand draw these designs. There's a million of them in here. So you could find something that speaks to you. And that can be your brand logo. It can be as easy as that. So I encourage you to, again, just go for something. If you don't have the money to hire an agency or spend a lot of time on this, then you can start creating this yourself and get your brand up and running. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about creating content for your brand and finding your voice. But this week, I wanted to focus just on being able to, I'm going to get back to my StreamYard here. Stop screen sharing. There we go. But this week I wanted to talk to you just about how you can create the images that are going to go with your brand. So I hope that helped you. You know what? I want to add one more thing that I almost forgot. So one big mistake that I see brands make is that they'll spend a ton of time making it stunning. You can hire an agency. You can pay $100,000. I've worked with people that have done this and created beautiful websites, beautiful branding, original, expensive iStock photo images, and so many things like that. And you can spend so much money and then really have no substance. So when it comes to your brand, you are not creating a coffee table book. You're not creating a beautiful poster to go on your wall. You are creating a business, and the business needs to be the substance of your brand. It needs to be the substance of your content, and the branding works together with it to make your content and you shine. It can't be something that is instead of actually creating substance. So next week, we'll get into more of the substance for your brand, but that's all I want to talk to you about for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure to click on that link and get that guide. And I'm also going to have broken down versions of what I talked about today, videos of those in that guide. So I'm going to, once I finish this, jump over there and add those. So be sure to click on that link, download your guide to getting started on Canva and branding. And it also has content ideas for you for social media. So I hope that helps. Please let me know if you ever have any questions. If you want me to go over any of this in more depth, I would love to hear from you. And if you like this, please share it so that more people can join us and learn everyday marketing. Bye now.